and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello everyone. A new saga about the Witchers. Today we'll look at the main plot options, a few main characters, and options for the development of events, taking into account the previous parts of the Witcher games from the developers of the Polish studio CD Projekt Red. I'd like to say that as for the plot, I'm absolutely sure that CDPR will prepare a real masterpiece for us. Why is that? It's simple, because they are pros at it. Everyone who is familiar with their projects will agree with me, and those who don't know what we are talking about are advised to familiarize themselves. Let's get started. The video will be in such a format that I first make a brief analysis of some of the events that have already taken place in order to complement them in the correct sequence. Each part of The Witcher starts with a movie because there is no other way to call their introductory part. So let's imagine that we are making the first launch of a new game, which means that we are sure to be shown a backstory that will tell us who the Witchers are, what happened to them, and what their role in the universe is. This information should be available for new players who are not familiar with the previous projects, and just to give a touch of nostalgia to the fans of the series. Next, I think there should be a mention of the legendary Geralt and Ciri, how they and their friends defeated the invincible riders of the Wild Hunt, who terrified the entire continent, and that Ciri saved the planet from the White Cold. It would be nice if at the beginning of the game it was possible to choose a save from the previous game, which would directly affect the start of the main character. Here's an example. You have completed the third Witcher with the worst ending where Geralt and Ciri do not survive. Accordingly, our character begins the journey as a Witcher who falls into an ambush arranged by special mercenaries together with witch hunters who have a goal to destroy Witchers, sorcerers, and all those who for some reason stood out among ordinary people once and for all. This line of events could be described in more detail, but I don't want to imagine a Witcher without Geralt.
Geralt, Roger, Eric, Duot, Belagar C.
What?
There are several ways to start. I would make this the standard option. After Ciri became Empress, Nilfgaard strengthened his possessions under her rule. However, she never forgot about her friends. She often visited them using her powers. She also helped restore the fortress of Kaer Morhen in memory of their mentor, Vizimir. Strangely enough, the fortress was restored quite quickly thanks to the fact that many people joined the reconstruction, a friend brought a friend, and so many workers gathered. Everyone helped, as much as they could, some with magic and some in the usual way. In a few weeks, the old ruins were transformed into a majestic fortress. The legendary battle with the Horsemen of the Wild Hunt became known in almost every corner of the continent, as well as the death of the revered Witcher Vesemir. Of course, Dandelion made an effort to do so, reenacting the events in his performances, which each time attracted a large audience. Here we can move on to getting to know the main character. Where will the journey of our character begin? There are quite a few options. I would choose this option. You are a Witcher who has finished an order for Wyvern and, having received a solid reward, ordered a room for the night and a good snack, or recuperate after a tiring day. As you eat your meal, you overhear a conversation at the next table about the battle between the Witcher Geralt and the Wild Hunting Riders. You had heard about him often, and although you had never met him personally, you knew that the rumors about him were not made up, at least most of them. And now you hear that one of the Witchers killed in the battle. His name was Vizimir. Immediately you remembered how in your childhood one of the Witchers saved you and several other children from drowners, and you remembered his name. It was Vizimir. You decide to go to Kaer Morhen the next morning to honor the memory of the one who not only saved your life but also gave you a guideline for the future. You have never regretted deciding to become a Witcher, despite all the pain during the mutations. You knew you had chosen the right path. In the morning, after gathering your equipment, you set out on the road. After that, the player can take control of the character. And already along the way, for example, you could come across a monster that our player would not know anything about and has never heard of. And after defeating the monster in a difficult battle, you took the trophy and dumped the remains nearby with large stones so that they would not be visible, and so that no one would take them until you knew what it was. You also hoped to get the answer to your question in Kaer Morhen. As the main bad guys, I would choose a few magicians who decided to put on their own grand show. In it, they would become the main defenders of the continent from unknown monsters, supposedly from another dimension, as it was in the days of the conjunction of the spheres. By doing so, they would secure fame, demonstrate their power and authority. And the first obstacle they would need to remove is Witchers, not all of them, but only those who find the truth where no one is looking for it. And then we can consider the following events. For example, the magicians find Leo Bonnet's records and start testing them, first on ordinary mercenaries, and then on Witchers. After our protagonist tells Geralt about an unknown monster, Geralt decides to see it with his own eyes, since he has seen quite a few monsters in his life. When they arrive at the place where the monster's body should be, there is nothing there. It is only with the help of Geralt's Witcher's sense that he realizes that there was indeed a very strange creature, unknown to him before. After the magicians realize that Geralt and the other Witcher can ruin their plans, they decide to simply erase the Witcher's memories, since they will not be able to win in a battle with the White Wolf, especially when he is not alone. And when the magicians do this, Geralt is erased from his memory of the recent events, and our protagonist is sent through a portal into a dense forest away from Kaer Morhen, also with a memory lapse. But it was necessary that one of the Witchers, Lambert, Escol, Leto, should pass by there, fulfilling another contract, after which he would go straight to the same Kaer Morhen, to his friends. And any of these Witchers can say that our protagonist reminds them very much of their friend, Geralt, when he lost his memory and offered to accompany him on the road. How do you like this beginning of the story? Let me know what you think in the comments. And a special thank you for your support with a like, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care of yourself and your loved ones, do good things, and I wish you to be healthy and happy millionaires.